Our next slide will look at taste and smell. Olfactory learners are not very well known in most learning systems, but these are people that are very sensitive to smell. Now, the olfactory bulb is part of the brain's limbic system and has access to the amygdala, which processes emotion, and the hippocampus, which is responsible for associated learning. So smell can call up memories and powerful responses almost instantaneously. We do have to condition this though. The brain forges a link between the smell and a memory, associating the smell with the activity. Smell. It brings back so many memories when you have that smell. For instance, to this day, if I cut grass, I still have a fear because when we were on the farm, cutting grass used to send the snakes inside the house. And one day we found a lovely black mamba, which was an extremely poisonous snake, in our kitchen. Definitely puts you off going for a midnight snack. I'm not going to lie to you, but the smell of cut grass has always brought back that almost anticipation. And I'm sure that smell to you can also do the same thing. Think of your mother when she used to bake, or your grandmother. The smell of fudge. Walking into a restaurant and those chips. The smell of chips. They never taste as good as they smell, do they? In my country, we often use something called boerewors, which is a farmer sausage. And I must admit, it can get anybody drooling from about 100 meters, and I'm vegetarian. Science has also discovered that smell can work, because they've discovered that smells work on the hippocampus, and they stimulate the hippocampus. Significantly, we have discovered in 2001 that a person who rubbed his son's feet with essential oils was able to create a situation where an autistic child suffered from less hyperactivity and greater concentration span. That's impressive. But how would you utilize such smells? Well, you'd have to connect the smell to your subject in order to get any kind of benefit. In an adult, the best thing to do is to create the study method, the study methodology, if I can put it that way, with the smell, so that you automatically train your brain. The moment I smell this, I will go into a study mode. I will go into a mode where I can concentrate and I can actually regurgitate facts. You can put these oils, or the plant itself, or even crushed pieces of the plant, on your desk, and there's different ways which you can use them. You can put the oils into an infuser, for instance, but please do use quality oils. You could also use an aroma lamp or atomizing diffuser with these essential oils. Now, rosemary is by far the most scientifically tested, but other oils have been proven to help memory, and that's basil, cypress, thyme, peppermint, and sage. You can dilute 2 to 8 drops of your oil into an avocado or a sweet or almond oil, carrier oil, even an olive oil, but just make sure it is quite a light olive oil. You can massage this into your forehead and your back of neck, or put it onto your wrists in order to get the smell. Just remember, check to see if you're sensitive first. Other oils reputed to help include lemon, grapefruit, coriander, cardamom, and ginger. We have a lemon tree at the back of our house, and it gives off the most amazing smell. And my children, when they were still at school, used to love studying there, and they always have associated lemon with this study. They also find if they drink a glass of lemon and honey, they actually can study better. This is ideas which you can utilize in order to suit you. Now, some oils, although they have a good benefit, have not been proven to be very good when it comes to studying, and lavender is one of those. It has been shown to sedate, and it calms the recipient too much to improve memory performance. So I would not suggest that you actually utilize lavender unless you are an extremely tense student. I think that it wouldn't be as beneficial as the rosemary. Rosemary, by the way, also reduces blood pressure, so it's got a double whammy. I don't suggest you use it if you've got very low blood pressure. Then rather use one of the other oils. Rosemary. What an amazing plant. If you haven't seen it, there's a picture of it on the slide. Rosemary is good for so many things that I actually suggest that everybody has a plant, whether it's on a patio, whether it's on a balcony, or in a garden. I personally have many plants in my garden because we use them quite a lot for culinary purposes, over our potatoes, our vegetables, our meat, but I'll also use it for therapeutic purposes because rosemary is so beneficial for so many health situations. For studying, you can use it just like that, or you can put 15 drops of lemon essential oil with it, 7 drops rosemary essential oil, 7 drops peppermint essential oil, and you can use it with some carrier oils. Normally it's about 6 drops of the blend to 50 ml of the carrier oil, and apricot or almond, sweet oils, even an olive oil could work very well as a carrier oil. And you can add a few drops of this blend, about 6 drops, to a bath, and you soak yourself for about 10 minutes. Don't use thyme if you're using a bath. Thyme is not a very good oil to put in your bath. It's an exceptionally good oil though if you want to have disinfectants or an antibiotic. It's very good for that. Sage also. Please don't ever use sage in your bath, especially if you're pregnant. It is quite dangerous then. Your second blend would be 6 drops of juniper essential oil, and 3 drops of rosemary essential oil, 3 drops of clary sage essential oil, and you mix that together as well. And just put it into a brown bottle and shake it up. And then you add your carrier oils as you need, or you can put it into your diffuser and use it like that. There are other blends that are quite effective. This is one with grapefruit essential oil, 15 drops of grapefruit essential oil, 7 drops of black pepper essential oil, and 5 drops of coriander essential oil. Very nice if you like that sort of spicy smell, and it also can help your memory substantially because pepper is quite a strong oil. Blend 4 has got 3 drops of lemon essential oil and 2 drops of hyssop essential oil. Basil, on the other hand, needs no introduction. Anybody who eats any kind of Italian food must know basil. And it is a wonderful plant as well to have. Not one that I have very much success in growing, unfortunately. It seems to not like my ground in South Africa. But we can utilize that as well. It's a very good oil for so many things. I also use it for sore ears and for a multiple amount of uses. So let's see what we can do with basil. If we use 5 drops of basil, we put it with 6 drops of eucalyptus and 2 drops of peppermint. That should be an amazing mix as well if you have sinus or any kind of head colds. And our 6th blend has got 1 drop of basil, 2 drops of rosemary, and 2 drops of cypress. And I think that if you use those kind of blends, you can use them for studying, you'd be able to use them for having a cold, having a head cold as well. But try and use them for studying and try and link them to the study material that you're studying. And you'll find a tremendous help when you go into your exam. Do you know someone who always has a pen in their mouth or a piece of gum or a pencil? Something's always in their mouth. Chances are you've met a gustatory learner. Now there's not much science for them, We do know the cerebellum, or the forebrain, controls taste buds, and this is often linked to the olfactory or sense of smell. So often these people have a very keen sense of smell and can have serious likes and dislikes when it comes to smelling things. If you have a strong gustatory learning style, you often find that the way you study needs to be with something in your mouth. Now you can adapt to this. For instance, you could take some gum with peppermint oil, and you could use that gum with peppermint oil whenever you study something that is, say, science. And then you could take something with cinnamon oil and use that whenever you study a language. These are things that you can do. Sometimes I just find having a bowl of fruit and nuts on the table where you're studying can also help, because most of us have got mouthfeel. This is brought up from the time that we were cavemen hitting each other over the head. We got a sense of taste, and we get comfort through our mouth. So if you have a bowl of fruit and nuts, and then you decide, well, okay, let me use this nut or this fruit or whatever you've got to help me study, what you do is you turn around, and every time you come to a very difficult piece of work and you weren't quite sure whether you've got it, take that nut or take that fruit and just start nibbling at it as you bring the information back. Often you'll find it will focus your mind a lot clearer than if you were just sitting there with a pen hitting the table going, oh my goodness, what is this? As you're nibbling that nut, you start putting in those memories to the taste of that nut. And you can take a couple of nuts to your exam room, and you can even do that when you find that you're stuck on something, and just take a nut or a piece of fruit, dried fruit normally, because fresh fruit can be very messy, and that does not make your examiner happy when they get this fruit splattered paper. Sometimes you can stimulate your memory by having a cool drink of water by your study or on your desk, and then you actually set your timer. And this could be between 10 and 30 minutes, depending on what your concentration span is. For a younger person, a less mature person in studying, 10 minutes sometimes is quite sufficient for them. And you set your timer, and then you just have a cool drink, and also just rehash whatever you've been studying in your mind. Put the drink down, go back to your work. This can help immensely when you're doing quite complicated subjects, or if you're doing very boring subjects where you have to just learn. It can help a lot just to have that break, because it means that you can just allow your mind just to refocus and then focus back. And often that can help memory intensely. Now, I'm not telling you to have a minute break every 5 minutes or 10-minute break every 10 minutes. It has to literally be a couple of sips, minute maximum, and then back to studying. Otherwise, you'll find that your 30-minute study period doesn't actually get much done. Another thing I like, and this I very strongly recommend, is to have either iced tea or warm tea, depending on what the temperature is. In South Africa, it's very hot, so I often make us some iced tea with mint and with lemon, maybe a little bit of cinnamon, and we'll have that when we study. Just pour a little bit into your glass, you sip it, a lot of ice, but you can make it warm as well. I like peppermint tea because of the fact that it does stimulate your brain. So these are ideas you can have if you happen to like using your mouth when you study. Doesn't necessarily have to be unhealthy snacks. Make them healthy, but link them in some way to your actual studying, and you'll find that you'll go much further than when you start looking at your work and instantaneously get hungry and start wandering off for that biscuit or the cookie or the Coke in the fridge. Just try and do it with a little bit of healthy snacks and make them part of your study period. Let's sum up what we've learned so far. We've realized that smell and taste can be powerful mnemonics to learning material. They can stimulate the mind to recall very efficiently. We've also discovered that certain herbs have been shown to help memory, and recall to a marked degree, and these have been scientifically proven. It's not just an old wives' tale. I highly recommend that doesn't matter which of the learning styles you feel most comfortable with, whether you're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, that you add a little bit of gustatory and olfactory study methods into your study plan. It can help you. It can help your children. Not only that, it's actually quite a lot of fun. I love my nuts. I'm going to go and chew on a Brazil nut right now.